Okay, folks. Enough for the jokes. Y'all know what I'm talking about there. You can fill in that line. But here we are again, another episode, another recap episode, 3rd and 23. Here to recap week 15 of the NFL season and my picks and predictions. If you've been following this channel, you know that I've been cooking it coming into the week. I was 11, 1 and 1 over the last, what would that have been, 3 weeks. And been cooking it, and sometimes when you're cooking it, right, you're hot, you eventually will cool off, right? And I guess that's what we kind of had this week. I mean, all in all, I still finished green. Um, but you know, uh, we do have some red on the screen this week, so just kind of kind of get into it. So first, Atlanta at Carolina, I laid the 3. Um, I may have underestimated the amount of rain and the weather conditions in that game, but I thought, even that said, I mean, it rained on Carolina too. That was a game that I thought Bijan Robinson and the Falcons running game would had a good game. And that's not what happened. I mean, to be fair, Bijan had a fumble, and I get it. He had a fumble, and he barely even touched the ball after that. I don't agree with that decision making. Right, 7 carries. I mean, yeah, he was 7 carries for 11 yards in that fumble, but you didn't even really let him get a chance to get into a groove. And I know the conditions, but in those kind of conditions, you may have been able to run the ball in. And Chuba Hubbard had a good game running the ball, so I think Bijan could have had a good game running the ball, but they decided to phase him out. Not really sure why. If you actually look at the Falcons, 2 of their previous 3 first round picks, something like that, Bijan Robinson and Kyle Pitts, have weirdly had situations where they've been phased out of the offense. Not really sure what Arthur Smith is doing there with his coaching decisions, but you know, coaches get fired in this world, right? Because they sometimes don't know what they're doing, and who knows, he might find himself being a victim of that at some point in the future. But this game was really decided when Desmond Ritter. The Falcons are up 7-6, right? So we're not covering yet, but the Falcons are in the red zone, and Desmond Ritter, inexplicably or maybe predictably, because he is Desmond Ritter and he's not a franchise quarterback, um, rolls out and could have took off and got some positive yards running the ball, and it wasn't like it was 3rd down either, or it wasn't, or 4th down in desperation they're down or anything like that. And he throws a pass in the traffic towards the end zone that's easily picked off. Didn't see the defender. Not sure how he didn't see him, because there were quite a few of them. And just really terrible decision making. That led to a Carolina going on, I think it was a 17-play drive, basically milked the whole clock just about, and kicked a game-winning field goal, a game-winning short field goal to win this game 9-7. Even if they missed it, we wouldn't have covered, because the Falcons would have just took knees. So I was off on this one. I thought the Falcons would have ran the ball better. I thought Ritter would have had, I didn't think he had a good game, but I thought he had a better game. And he wasn't horrible until the pick, considering the conditions. But that was just an awful interception. Bryce Young, I didn't think he'd be able to pass the ball that effectively. 167 yards passing. So, he was kind of just dinking and dunking out there. I did say Chuba Hubbard could have some running success. He did. 87 yards rushing. But I mean, these guys, they only had 9 points. I mean, I didn't think Carolina's offense was going to do much scoring. They didn't. I just thought the Falcons would have had a little more success offensively, and they did not. So, got this one wrong. Final was 9-7. Moving on, Washington Commanders at the Rams. I laid the 6.5. I told you guys, I think the Rams might blow these guys out. I thought they would. I thought they'd run away with this. I thought the Rams offense would kind of just do what it wants, running and passing the ball. And that's kind of what happened. I mean, Stafford had 258 and 2 touchdowns. Kyron Williams ran for 152. I told you guys how hot he is right now. And they were pretty much running away with this game. What was it? It was 28-7 in the 4th quarter. I said that the The Commanders, I didn't think you were going to be in danger of a backdoor cover in this game because I thought the Rams would be up big in the fourth quarter, and that's what happened. Now, it almost happened. The Commanders did get 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, but even when it was, and actually, you know what? It was 28 to 14. They score a touchdown. Rams playing prevent with about a minute, was a minute 45 left in the game, and they're gonna go. I'm like, yo, are they gonna go for 2? Are you kidding me? We got a chance to actually lose this after dominating, easily covering this the whole game. They didn't. They kicked the PAT. PAT is blocked. So even if they made a PAT, doesn't matter. We're gonna win the bet as long as you recover the onside kick. PAT's blocked. Rams recovered the onside kick. 28-20 is your final. So we covered there. Not as easy as I thought we would, but it kind of went as I predicted. Baltimore at Jacksonville. I told you guys that Baltimore is just tougher than the Jags. I said Baltimore's going to be able to run the ball. Rough shot was actually the term I used over against the Jags, and I thought Lamar would run wild. He had 97 yards rushing. They ran as a team for 251 yards rushing in this game. Trevor Lawrence, 25 for 43, 264 and a touchdown. I thought he had a bad game passing. Kind of inaccurate there with no Christian Kirk. It's going to be tough for him against a really elite defense. And I'll give the Jags some props here. They played more scrappy than I thought. I mean, the final in this was 23-7. But Baltimore, there were some situations where Lamar had to be a magician, right? To keep drives alive and scoring drives going. And he was able to. Baltimore's just a better team, but I don't think this was a bad showing like the Jags had against the 49ers like a month ago. So your final's 23-7, so we covered there. So we went 2-1 on our high stakes plays. That's what really helped me finish green for the week. Particularly when I'm going to talk about this next game, Houston at Tennessee. I said it's a low stakes play. Now for me, this was a really, really low stakes play. I probably should have emphasized it on that last video because you don't know what you're going to get with Will Levis. Tennessee was up in this game. Tennessee was up and looked like they were actually going to cover for a good portion of this game. So you're up 13. They're up 13-0, then 13-3, then 13-6, then 13-9 going into the fourth quarter. I'm like, come on. They're down. They had a turnover and which basically started them close to the red zone, the Houston red zone, and they were to kick a field goal to go up 16-9. I would have preferred a touchdown there, but we're up 16-9. We're covering right now. We're still in good shape. The Texans go down the field, and with a little over 3 minutes left, Case Keenum, who I thought it was going to be Davis Mills, but they started Case Keenum. That decision came later on. Throws a terrible decision to throw kind of across his body, across the middle of the field, and should have been picked off. Roger McCreary's coming in for the pick, and Dalton Schultz snatches the ball from him and gets tackled there at like the 2-yard line. That right there, I don't think Tennessee would have been able to salt the game away with the way their offense was playing. But now you're punting the ball back to Houston with probably around a minute and a half left in a touchdown lead. Different kind of situation. We don't know how it would have played out, but I think if McCreary makes that pick, we have a real strong opportunity to turn this from a red X into a green arrow. He doesn't make the pick, and sometimes that stuff happens. Sometimes it happens for you on the positive side, right? 2 plays this past weekend, the Desmond Ridder interception and the Roger McCreary missed interception, I think really could have turned the tide for me and had myself another 4-0 week. But, situations like that will happen in the sports betting world. So they ended up scoring 16-16. It goes to overtime. You still can win it in overtime, but you knew Tennessee got the ball first too, but you knew they weren't going to win. At that point, Will Levis had been just taking so much punishment. You knew they weren't going to drive the ball down the field. Derrick Henry, man, he had like 12 yards rushing or something like that. What do you have? 9 yards rushing, 16 carries, 9 yards rushing. He didn't give any help. Will Levis did hit some chunk plays in the passing game, but he took 7 sacks. I'm not going to put all of that on the offensive line because there were some sacks where there was a pocket he could step up in. He faded back into sacks. It was goofy nonsense. And that's the thing when you. That's why this was a really low stakes play for me because you just don't know what you're gonna get with Will Levis as a rookie quarterback. But final score was 19-16. Houston did kick a field goal in overtime to win the game, and we whiff on that one. So we go 2-2 this week. That puts my record at 13-3-1 since I started streaming. If you guys want to know about the Eagles Seahawks game, a game I was actually planning to do this. I was gonna have an own separate video for that game, but I'm just gonna tell you guys now. Yet again, I know another primetime game that I'm not doing. Though I did do Sunday Night Football, Baltimore Jacksonville, but another primetime game on Monday or Thursday that I don't do. The reason I'm not doing, I was gonna actually do this as a low stakes play, Philly covering, but now no Darius Slay. That kind of took it to like a no play for me because Seattle is probably gonna cook. If you got a healthy Geno, we don't know. Game time decision could be Drew Lock. So now you're really okay, Philly. Jalen Hurts got downgraded to questionable and had to travel without the team to Seattle with an illness. Now, I don't know about quarterbacks sitting and missing games because of an illness. I don't think it's going to happen, but we don't know how much that's going to affect him during the game because we don't know what illness it is. We don't know how serious it is. You know, there's a chance you're going to have two backup quarterbacks go at it in this game. So I'm not going to do this game. So I'm staying away from Philly, Seattle. But if everybody was healthy, or as healthy as you can be at the end at this point in the season, you had Geno and you had Jalen Hurts and you had Darius Slay, I would have done this as a low stakes play on Philly, but not gonna do that game. So anyway, that kind of wraps up the recap video. Tune in. I was thinking about doing something in the middle of the week, kind of go over my power ratings for the season. But actually, I might save that for later on. I may do a recruiting video if you're into college, because as you guys know, I do college and NFL. I might do a recruiting video, just kind of recap what happened in the recruiting world and some info on that at some point during the middle of the week if you're interested in that. And if you're into the NFL picks, just know I will do those probably Sunday morning. That's what I've been doing the past couple weeks. I'll try to do them on Saturdays. If there isn't injury news I'm waiting on, but you guys know how it is. There's always some injury news that you got to wait till Sunday morning to find out about. So that's kind of why I do it on Sunday morning. But anyways, if you like the content, please like, follow, subscribe, and hope you all did well this week in your bets, and take care. Oh, and you'll see my YouTube handle here in a few seconds.